Wife!
Do you know where the hell we are today?
Well, yesterday we covered Daniel chapter 11.
Sure as fuck did.
And in that chapter, Daniel had a vision.
Did he?
He did.
And how?
And it was a bit north and it was a bit south and it was a bit all over the fucking place with regard to future wars and conquerors and leaders.
Antiochus.
And he's and they's, and I don't even know what the fuck they were talking about if we're to take it at the word of just the Bible. Now, we did some research and found out that it was other things, which Antiochus, yes, was one of those things.
I'm going to go with that one.
At least if we're to take, scholars' point of view on this aspect or what have you. Now, there might even be other interpretations that we are leaving out because who the fuck knows what we're talking about, really?
I do not know what the fuck we're talking about.
I don't either. It was a mess. That's what it was.
Really was.
Yeah. So much like the rest of Daniel, this felt very forced and very much like they had to cover certain things to promote what this guy Daniel, who is already what we have regarded him as a fictional character,
right,
was able to prophesy through people that wrote this 400 years later that already saw this stuff happen. Right. Is that about the gist of it? Yeah. I mean, I am trying to, I don't really know what else to say about that chapter because I hated it. I absolutely fucking hated it.
I also hated it.
It was horrible. It was bad. It was awful.
Yeah. Well, then you'll like today.
Oh, are you being facetious or?
Well, it's short, so.
Oh, okay, all right. Also, just to state it, since today what we're getting into is
Daniel chapter 12.
It's going to be officially the
end of Daniel and the end of this vision that was 4 chapters long or whatever.
Yeah. So, but we're not going to stop with Daniel there necessarily.
Right.
We are going to go on to, we're going to do a Q&A after this.
To cover the visions.
Right. And the last week. Yeah. The visions, basically.
Yeah.
And then we're going to go on to do the
3 books that were left out, the apocryphal ones.
Yeah, right.
I don't remember what they're called. And
I know one of them's Susanna.
Oh, really? Because I know one of them is Bella and the Dragon.
There you go. We got 2 of them.
2 of the 3.
Right. Yeah, I can't remember what the other one was called. But we are going to cover those before we get out of the Daniel area,
neighborhood,
place, the craziness.
Sure.
Yeah, that. So that being said, are you ready to get into Daniel chapter 12?
I sure as fuck am.
All right, let's do this.
Okie dokie. All right, let's finish up this bitch of a book called Daniel. How's that sound?
You didn't give your signature name.
Daniel.
There you go. We can't leave it out on the last book, or the last chapter, I mean.
I know. You're right. Well, the book of Daniel, as I have said with every chapter, is 2-parter. And first Daniel was chapters 1 through 6. Yeah, and those were court tales. They were history of hi, my name is Daniel and I'm a kid and me and my buddies here, we're homies and we so believe in God.
Yeah, right.
And so that was cute and fun. And then chapters 7 through 12 was something else entirely.
It sure was.
Yeah.
Sure was.
It is apocalyptic visions.
It sure is.
Yeah. Yep. And I do not love it. Yeah.
No, it's not great. There's definitely been better stuff we've read in the Bible than this. And it's it's just so try hard.
It really is.
I can't get over how bad this is written and how forced these ideas are in there. They're just so ill placed in this book because they don't really. They're trying really hard to make this guy a prophet, right? Like they want to show how
he's listed.
How much he's a prophet.
He's listed as a prophet.
No, so. I get it. But we know from the people that have studied the Bible and told us that these were written much later, generally after these things all have happened. Right. So they're trying to take these things they already know and they're trying to shove them back into this fictional character of Daniel. Right. And make them work as this actual prophet that did these things. And it's the same thing that was kind of happening in the 1 through 6, where they were overemphasizing how much God influenced, like Nebuchadnezzar and different things that happened in those time frames, right? It's still all this propaganda about how great God was back then and how much prophecy he gave to this guy Daniel and how much, influence he had over all these events that were happening back then. And it's just complete and utter bullshit.
Right.
That's all. Sorry, I just had to go off one more time.
One more time.
Yeah.
Last chance.
Right, yeah.
All right, let me do a quick recap. Chapters 10, 11, and 12 make up Daniel's final vision, so that's what we're finishing up today.
Okay.
Describing a series of conflicts between the unnamed King of the North and King of the South, leading to the, quote, time of the end.
Right.
When Israel will be vindicated and the dead raised, some to everlasting life and some to shame and everlasting contempt.
Sure. Yeah.
All right.
Right. Okay.
So there's that. All right. Let's get into chapter 12. Are you ready for this?
I'm ready. Yeah.
Okay. Well, I don't typically read the chapter titles anymore.
Right.
Because they aren't considered.
They're not necessarily relevant.
They aren't part of the Bible.
Right.
But I got to read this one.
Okay.
The time of the end.
Okay.
At that time.
The time of the end, probably, whatever, I'm assuming.
That time.
Or that time that we just followed up from the last time.
Daniel was hearing from
the visions
the guy.
The
shiny guy who had been helped by Michael.
Right, who just recounted like 300, 400 years worth of history.
In one breath.
Right. Yeah.
So at that time, Michael, the great prince who protects your people, will arise. Okay, so this is still shiny dude talking.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
There will be a time of distress such as has not happened from the beginning of nations until then. But what is funny is that they're still in the beginning of nations. They just don't know it.
Right, yeah.
But at that time, your people, everyone whose name is found written in the book, the book of truth. Is this the book of
the... Well, okay.
The book of truth.
Sure. Well, are we sure that's the book? Because there's also that book where they put everybody's name and some people's names can be taken. Remember, it was back like during Moses' time.
Well, I'm thinking it's the book of truth because that's what they were just talking about in the previous chapter.
Right, but they're also talking about names, which names, the only place I've heard that before was in the book of whatever the...
Is that the book of life?
I don't remember what it was called before.
The book of names, the book of truth,
is it the book of
life, the book... Who wrote the book of love?
I don't think the Bible can tell us that.
Absolutely not.
No.
Well, anyway... At that time, your people, all the people whose name are found written in whatever book, those guys will be delivered.
Okay, yeah.
Multitudes who sleep in the dust of the earth will awake. Oh, we got zombies.
Yeah, we do.
What?
Again.
What?
There are so many fucking zombies in the Bible. It's ridiculous.
I did not know.
How many zombies are in the Bible?
I did not know.
No, I didn't know that. I've heard the jokes about Jesus before, right?
Yeah, because he was raised from the dead or what the fuck.
Sure. Everybody knows that
Everybody knows
dead, right?
Jesus zombie.
But there are a lot of actual bits about zombies in the Bible.
I had no idea.
And I'm just like, wow, this is a lot of... No wonder there's such a hang up about zombies in our culture.
Right?
I didn't know that it gets stemmed from the Bible, but it does.
And that makes perfect sense. Every time I hear a zombie in the Bible, I think, oh, that's got to be the last one, right?
Right.
And then it's not.
Right.
So, I know we got Jesus coming, but besides the Jesus
one other
zombie,
than Jesus.
Right.
Yeah, right.
Do you think there's any more zombies?
I'm going to go with at this point, yeah.
Who even fucking knows?
Right, and we got Revelation coming still.
Oh, that's
which
true.
I'm sure there's zombies in Revelation, right? There's everything else from what I understand.
Yeah,
so why
I think
not
that
zombies?
There's like sword-handed Edward Scissorhands and a fucking dragon and stuff.
Right?
I don't know. Okay, so multitudes who sleep in the dust of the earth will awake, some to everlasting life and others to shame, and everlasting contempt.
So either way, it's everlasting.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
You're going to suck forever or you're going to be awesome forever.
Got it.
I'd rather just sleep, thanks.
Yeah.
Can I just?
Is this kind of I can't remember if we've covered something like this before, but is this like a new take on afterlife here?
This is End of Days. So.
Right, but I'm saying like this specific take on how like either you're going to be tortured forever type thing or you're going to be raised up.
Yeah.
Is this specific? Because this feels closer to the heaven and hell bit, right?
Yeah, this is
and
new.
so it does feel a little bit newer than some of the other takes on afterlife that we've covered.
Think about when this is written. We're getting closer to the time of Jesus.
We are.
So, yeah, makes sense.
Okay.
The more quote unquote civilized, the more city hubs, the more that people settle down and stop traveling with tents and animals and stuff.
Right.
The more that cities are building up, the more that people want retribution and there's more interaction between each people and their neighbor, right?
Okay. Yeah.
And so they're gonna want to blame, like, hey, my next door neighbor just did a fucking thing and they need to go to hell for that. They need to be punished.
Well, I think we see this in society today, that people enjoy the idea that people that they don't like or hate are going to suffer forever. Like that's, I actually have been the target on social media from people who, quote, that hate atheists because we're not Christian, right?
Yeah.
Or whatever. They enjoy the idea that you're going to burn in hell. Yeah. Which is just sickening to me that
very excited.
Someone enjoys that idea. But, whatever.
Right. That's weird.
It really is.
I'm like, so you're the one who would ask then, what is keeping you from murdering people if not God? Like, I get why you would ask that if you are standing over there enjoying the idea that I will burn in hell forever.
Right. No, I've actually had some people tell me that they would do all the bad things if it wasn't for their God. And I'm like,
I believe
that
you.
is actually really disturbing, my guy.
I feel like there should be some kind of psychological test to be allowed to human. You know what I mean?
Sure.
Like, I feel like there should be a way to be like, hey, this guy just told me that he would kill people if it wasn't for religion.
Right.
That's the only reason. His fear of God or his love and fear of God is the only thing keeping him from raping people and running over kittens.
I think that is a mental health cry is what it is.
Yeah.
Like that person really needs some mental health experts to examine them and help them.
Terrifying though.
And part of this could actually stem from their religious, indoctrination and belief systems and all that. Like, I know of people who the things that they believe made worse things that were not mentally stable.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, yeah. I've known people actually close to me that have had problems that caused things like that where it was not great. So
it was not great.
No, I'm just I don't want to. I'm not going to dig into what I'm saying, what I'm thinking about. But I mean, it is. I feel like it can make worse.
Sure.
Things that could already be bad.
One thing that's interesting is, and I'm talking out of my ass here. I'd have to research to find the study, but what you're talking about is religion exacerbating a mental illness or a mental health situation.
Sure.
What I have also read is that people in mental health crises, like with borderline personality disorder or other forms of psychosis, not schizophrenia because they don't call it that anymore. I forget. Anyway, other types of personality disorders and mental health crises can also bring on a sudden faith in God.
Okay.
Like suddenly somebody in crisis like finds God and becomes like super crazy religious.
Got it.
Yeah.
Got it. That's interesting.
Yeah.
I mean, look, there's all kinds of things out there, but I still feel like even if that person had no religious upbringing and that happened to them, religion is still part of culture, part of our worldview that we have as a society. And even if you were not indoctrinated in it and didn't really have much to do with religion at all to begin with, if you are having mental health issues, it could still end up being something that stems from that becomes a focus that you focus on.
Sure.
Just because of culture, because of the world around you.
Yeah.
So.
Yep. It's not good, as you would say.
Yeah. Right. There would be something else that would take its place if it wasn't for that, right? So, I don't want to say that it's not good specifically because someone who has mental health issues chooses religion to focus on. There would be other things that they might choose to focus on. So.
Couldn't you just focus on, scrapbooking? I don't know. All right. So those who are wise, of the people rising from the dead, I don't know. Those who are wise will shine like the brightness of the heavens, and those who lead many to righteousness like the stars forever and ever. But you, Daniel, roll up and seal the words of the scroll until the time of the end. Many will go here and there to increase knowledge.
Okay.
So
he's saying don't store this information for future people. He's future people to read.
Write this down, but lock it up.
Got it.
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't know why they would. I'm writing down that I'm not writing this down. What?
Well, if you're a person writing this 400 years later, right, you have to have a reason why it's just now coming out that this person wrote this, right?
That is true.
This seems like an excuse as to why it's just now coming out.
Okay, I follow. Yeah. Sorry, I wasn't there. I was still trying to make sense of, but the dead.
Right.
What? Then I, Daniel, looked, and there before me stood two others. One on this bank of the river and one on the opposite bank.
Okay.
So here, there, opposites.
Right.
One of them said to the man clothed in linen, my shiny guy, who was above the waters of the river, how long will it be before these astonishing things are fulfilled?
Yeah, how long, Daniel?
That is a good question.
I bet you might know the answer, actually.
Shiny guy. Do you know?
That's a
shiny guy?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, how long is it going to be?
The man clothed in linen, who was above the waters of the river, lifted his right hand and his left hand toward heaven.
Okay.
And I heard him swear by him who lives forever. Would that be the Ancient of Days?
Probably.
Saying, it will be for a time, times, and half a time.
Oh, my God.
Right? I can't spell it out. That would be too easy.
Right.
I have to be cryptic.
Yes.
Okay. Yes. I see you over there, shiny man. Okay. When the power of the holy people, continued shiny guy, has been finally broken, all these things will be completed.
Okay.
Wait, what? The power of the holy people has finally been broken?
I'm sure that was something to do with one of the visions that we've talked about, maybe.
Okay.
Because there was something to do with when Antiochus or whatever.
Yeah.
When it he was going to break, I don't know, shit. There's so much going on, I can't hardly keep track of it all.
It's true.
But I'm sure it has some tie-in with some of the visions that we've talked about already or whatever.
I'll try to figure it out in a Q&A tomorrow.
That would be
because
fantastic.
I got nothing here.
Yeah.
I heard, but I did not understand. Me, Daniel. So I asked, my lord, what will the outcome of all this be? Since you can't fucking answer my question as to, but when though?
Yeah.
Right?
Right.
He replied, go your way, Daniel, because the words are rolled up and sealed until the time of the end. Many will be purified, made spotless and refined, but the wicked will continue to be wicked. I mean, he sounds so exacerbated that I'm just, no, that's not the word. Exasperated.
Right.
I'm so sorry. I lost my words for a minute. I'm getting worse with age, I sound like fucking Trump. Ugh. Okay, anyway, many will be purified, made spotless and refined, but the wicked will continue to be wicked. None of the wicked will understand, but those who are wise will understand. Okay?
Okay.
He's saying, don't worry about it.
Sure.
From the time that the daily sacrifice is abolished and the abomination that causes desolation is set up.
That's specifically we're talking about Antiochus here. Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
There will be 1,290 days.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
So that's very specific.
Yeah. Okay.
And okay.
Blessed is the one who waits for and reaches the end of the 1,335 days.
Okay.
As for you...
What's that gap there?
I have no fucking idea.
Okay, all right.
As for you, Daniel, go your way till the end. You will rest, and then at the end of the days, you will rise to receive your allotted inheritance. The end.
So it sounds like we have some somewhat specific time frames here that don't exactly line up with those 70-year things that we get later.
Of 7.
Because a lot of people tie in Antiochus as this person that they're talking about. And if we're talking about Antiochus and then only 1,000 or 1,300 days after the end of that, then that keeps us very much in the realm of not Jesus.
I don't know.
Well, I'm just,
I need to do more studying because I am very confused.
I'm just saying that if we're basing this off of Antiochus and the life of Antiochus, right? If we go, let's just take the time that he dies, which I don't know when it was exactly, but I know that no matter what time he died, within that lifetime that he had, it couldn't have equated to enough time to get to Jesus with 1,000 or 1,300 days.
Right.
Unless we're making 1,300 days and 1,000 days, 1,000 years and 1,300 years, which we've done before with weeks. So, just who knows?
Like I said, somebody did some math that made it like exactly work. I'm going to try to find that because that was fun. I don't believe in it or anything.
Right.
And they really did some twisting, but it was fun to make it like line up.
But I am specifically curious about the discrepancy in those days.
What's
like what
the
happened between
1290 versus the 1335?
Right.
Like I don't get it.
What are those? Is that 45? Yeah, 45 days. What do those 45 days entail?
I have no idea.
What's up with that? I need to know. That needs to be in our Q&A.
Yeah, no, I totally agree. I'm having a hard time making all of this work, quite honestly.
I don't think there is any making this work for us as we read the Bible.
Right.
The Bible as it reads is stupid.
No, it's making me learn a lot of history, and the history itself is interesting, but I probably wouldn't have learned it any other way, so I'm glad it's being forced upon me.
Sure.
But also, I kind of resent that I'm having to learn so much history this way.
Well, what I resent is that by the time you get done learning about the history that scholars say that this is supposed to be, someone else is going to be like, well, that's not actually what it means.
Right.
There are different interpretations even of this.
Yeah.
And so, we can all somewhat agree that it probably points to this, but that's when that doesn't fulfill someone else's need in some other sect or group of religions,
right?
They're going to be like, well, that didn't actually mean that specifically. It's possibly something that happens later. And it's like, okay, so the vagueness in the Bible allows you to make this mean whatever the fuck you want it to mean, and you don't give a shit about what was actually happening.
Right.
And we're just going to pretend like it means whatever you want it to mean.
Right.
And that's what they're actually saying. They don't want it to mean this thing. They're going to make it mean something else. And when you do that, it doesn't matter what it is. It doesn't matter what you've made it.
So at that point, the conversation's over.
Yeah, basically. Yeah. I mean, that you can't have a conversation with someone who just rips out everything that they want and just create something on their own. Like that, you can't. There is no conversation to be had.
No, that's when you just go, oh, okay, and then you just walk away. All right, I get it now. Okay,
right, yeah,
you're one of those.
Sure.
Okay.
All right. Well, anyway, do you have anything else to add, or was that going to be it for today?
That was going to be it for today. I only took a few notes, and I thought rather than try to go over this short chapter, I would just save it
for the Q&A.
And yeah, we'll just go over this final vision as our Q&A.
Yeah, I like that.
It'll be chapters 10, 11, and 12.
Yeah.
I think.
Right. That sounds right. Yep.
Yeah.
And we've had some long chapters, so we'll give everybody a break with a short chapter today. So
yeah.
Sounds good to me.
Sounds good to me too.
All right. Well, that was Daniel chapter 12.
Sure as fuck was.
Officially the last canonical book of Daniel.
Yes.
So we have finished yet another
book of the Bible.
That's right. But we have some extracurricular involved with this book that we're going to cover here. So we will be back tomorrow with
Q&A, not on Saturday.
Right. And then we'll be back the following days with the following, the non-canonical the apocryphal books of Daniel.
Yes.
So we'll be following that up.
And those apocryphal books may or may not be apocalyptic. I don't know what's in them.
For those of you who have been following us in the book of Daniel, know where that stems from.
Yes.
So anyway, and then we'll do our regular, chapter or book wrap up and
contradictions and you're always wrong.
Yeah. We'll do all those things when we get to the end of those. So we will see you tomorrow.
Yeah.
Bye.
Bye.